Right, guys. So, what's my thoughts on Amelia? Amelia is like taking off as a bit of a meme. If you don't know the backstory, look it up. Asmongold, I think his name is, along with Lotus Eaters have picked up on it as well. Relate are this manipulated. I think they're Home Office, aren't they? Um, Tied in with their left wing agenda, pure left wing. Because the fact is, they're always right, aren't they? In the sense of they're left, but they're always right. You're not entitled to opinions. You're not allowed to challenge it. You're not allowed to discuss it. We dictate what everything means. It's to suit ourselves. So they create this game, which I think has been up for about 3 years, and for some reason it sort of picked up in the media. And basically, you get like choices of what you're going to do this, going to do that, and it sort of walks through some simple things, but then starts to push like your choices as if you're far right, when it's not. You know, if you're questioning stuff and maybe going to a protest, you're entitled to go to a protest. In fact, in Spain, they encourage it. When we're in Spain, the school has had at least 3 days this year where the school's not been open because the teachers are on protest or protesting. In the UK, well, if you're left wing, you're allowed to protest, but if you don't agree with what we're doing, then you're obviously far right and an extremist. So Amelia was sort of pushed down and portrayed in that way, but her arguments were so non-arguments that she'd become a meme. On top of that, you've got a young boy and an attractive um, pink, purple-haired girl who's like forthright and got strong views and very pro-British. Um, yeah, I think a lot of guys would like that. In fact, I think if there was more women like that, there'd actually be more relationships in the UK instead of them trying to make everybody go left wing and be in touch with your feelings and all that stuff. But if you look at the meme stuff, go through X because there's loads of it. Um, but you look at the viewpoints; they're not invalid, and this is what's confusing some people because if you're that far left and you're only interested in your own views, and you got this funded with taxpayers' money, and you're directing this into little kids because it's from young kids up to about 21-year-olds, I think it is. You're pushing propaganda. On top of that, the risks of being jailed and everything if you don't toe the line. Very strange. Doesn't it show how far we've moved away from actually having a conversation? I mean, I see some people post stuff on Facebook these days, and I just think they seem to be oblivious. Now, don't get me wrong. Some of these people do live in remote parts of the UK where they don't see many people from other parts of the world. But I would also add that you can't form that sort of hatred of something without actually being engaged with it. See, my dislike of the left wing agenda, etc., is because of the manipulations. It's the lying, it's the deception, it's the gaslighting, it's all the falsehoods, it's all the stuff they do against people. That if you don't agree with us, we'll do whatever anything we can to destroy you. It's very narcissistic and nasty. Well, the right wing are like that. Most people are central. You're way over there. Most people are just in the middle. Most people have mortgages and things to pay. That's why I don't see them on protests. They've got bills to pay. But you blend that far left with this globalist crap, and then the communist crap, and the socialist crap. And what's going to happen is the middle is going to implode. Why? Why wouldn't it? But do you think everyone's going to keep working to keep parasites living off their backs? Do you think everyone's going to protect those government jobs where lots of people from the left wing are sat in them? Look at the Labour government cancelling elections, and they're thinking that'll just keep going on. Reality is, that is an agenda in the hope that they can do as much of whatever they're trying to do before people have had enough of it. It's not like the poll tax riots of before, because the poll tax riots hit the unemployed and hit people on low incomes, at which point it bubbles up. The left are freeloading. Labour government is just freeloading it. But the problem is, the people that pay for it is diminishing. It's a bit like when you talk about net migration and things like that, when people talk about people leaving the country and people coming in. So a lot of people that are leaving the UK are younger or they're older. But ultimately, the majority pay their way, if not all of them. Well, if you're a pensioner, you've already earned your money. If you're younger, you're probably an entrepreneur or got skills to go elsewhere. You're going elsewhere because you have high value or you've got enough to leave. People coming in, we know what we're getting. Firstly, there's a lot of people of low value. Then you've got a snake eating itself situation like the NHS, where you've got a lot of doctors that can't get jobs that are already British and in the country, where you bring in consultants and stuff from overseas. Why is that? Can it be one thing? Because it's cheaper. And you do the same with nurses. You do the same with the education system. Why is it some of these universities are riddled with low quality qualifications and lots of foreign students? And then we have all the black market stuff going on, which is closely tied with a lot of it as well, from people dealing with the visas for people dealing with accommodation for people dealing with all sorts of things that are all tied together. And then they're complaining about Amelia. We've got all this other stuff going on, all the criminality, the illegal stuff going on, the great replacement stuff going on, and Amelia's the problem. Amelia is something they created themselves, and it's becoming a meme, becoming a banner, becoming something positive. That's it. Yeah, that's it. My view on it. Good. I'm very happy on the Amelia, because quite simply they took something that was portrayed as very negative and nasty, and it's become very positive. Which, is it ironic? Because normally you look at like pink, purple haired women on the internet, they're normally arguing with everybody that they've got rights and everybody else has got rights and they need to live out of other people's pockets, etc. And then you've actually got somebody they created that people actually like. How weird. How funny.